My child, I need you to breathe slowly and listen with your spirit, because something urgent has been unfolding around you without your awareness, something that has been crawling closer day by day, not in the world outside, but through someone connected to your life. Someone whose presence used to feel warm, safe, familiar, but lately something about them has changed in a way you cannot explain. You tried to tell yourself it was stress, maybe disappointment, maybe pressure, but deep inside you sensed something far heavier, something that didn't match their personality, something that didn't belong to them. And today, my child, I am here to tell you that your spirit was right. This person, the one you still worry about, the one you still try to defend, the one you still hope will return to their old self, has been carrying something that does not come from the light. It grew quietly, unnoticed, like a shadow following them long before you even realized anything was wrong. And now, the weight of what they allowed into their life has begun to spill into the atmosphere around them, touching the air, touching their words, touching their actions, and slowly trying to reach anyone who steps too close. Including you, my child. The shift didn't happen overnight. It started months ago, during a time when they were hurting more than they admitted. They felt ignored, disappointed, forgotten by the world, and in that loneliness, their heart cracked open just enough for something unseen to slip into the gaps. They didn't know what they were inviting. They didn't understand the danger. They only wanted comfort, answers, control. But instead of healing, they connected with something that thrives on anger, feeds on sadness, and grows through emotional wounds. Since that night, my child, the darkness inside them hasn't stayed still. It has taken root, spreading through their thoughts like vines tightening around the mind. Their reactions changed first. Small irritations became large explosions. Calm moments suddenly turned cold. Their patience dissolved into sharp tension. Their warmth faded into indifference. And every time they tried to hide it with a smile, their eyes betrayed the truth. There was a heaviness sitting behind them, silently watching, silently influencing. You felt it too, even if you tried to ignore it. There were moments when they entered the room and the air grew thick. Conversations with them left you unsettled, even if the words seemed normal. Your heart felt tight without reason. Your instincts whispered something was off, but your emotions wanted to believe they were simply struggling. Yet no matter how deeply you care, your spirit knows when danger is near. And lately, every time they come close, your soul has been warning you with a quiet ache, a subtle discomfort, an invisible pull telling you to create distance. My child, that feeling is not your imagination. It is protection. Because what they carry is not just sadness or stress. What lives inside them now has grown confident enough to stretch its influence beyond their own being. It watches who stays close, who still shows love, who still forgives easily. It recognizes your compassion. It recognizes your loyalty. It recognizes your softness. And because you have a tender heart, because you care deeply, because you always try to help others, even at your own expense, you have become its next target. This is why your energy drains after talking to them. This is why your peace suddenly collapses for no reason. This is why your emotions feel confused when they approach. This is why your dreams have become heavier. This is why your intuition refuses to stay silent. Your spirit is picking up the spiritual storm they have been feeding. They didn't choose darkness on purpose, no. They stumbled into it looking for relief. Yet what entered them has no intention of leaving quickly, because it feeds on the type of emotional wounds they carry: old hurts, unresolved anger, jealousy, fear of abandonment, frustration, self-blame, loneliness. These feelings became the open door, and once the door opened, darkness found its home. And now, my child, the danger is this. They are no longer just fighting their own battles. They have become a carrier of something that tries to attach itself to the closest heart. Yours. You have already felt the pull, the pressure, the strange heaviness that comes when you try to comfort them or help them. Their pain starts to feel like your pain. Their confusion starts to blur your clarity. Their negativity begins to overshadow your peace. Their chaos begins to leak into your life like a silent fog drifting under a closed door. That is how spiritual influence works, my child. It doesn't arrive violently. It arrives quietly. Slowly. Gently. Almost harmlessly. Until one day you wake up and realize you don't feel like yourself anymore. This is why I need you to listen carefully. You must protect yourself before this influence reaches your heart. You are kind, my child, but your kindness cannot save someone who refuses to shut the door they willingly opened. Your compassion is powerful, but compassion without boundaries becomes a trap. Your loyalty is beautiful, but loyalty to someone carrying darkness can lead you into battles you were never meant to fight. You have a destiny to fulfill, a light to protect, a future waiting to unfold, and this presence inside them wants to distract you, drain you, confuse you, and weaken you until your spirit becomes tired enough for it to slip in unnoticed. I do not want that for you. Heaven does not want that for you. Your purpose cannot afford that. This is why I am speaking to you now, not to scare you, not to turn you against this person, but to keep your spirit safe from something that was never meant to touch you. And now, my child, I will take you deeper into the truth of what they welcomed, how it grew, and why distance is the only protection you must take right now. My child, now that your spirit is awake and your heart is alert, I need you to walk with me deeper into the hidden place where this danger truly began. Everything you sensed, every uneasy feeling, every strange shift in their behavior, it all traces back to one moment when their soul slipped into a space it was never meant to enter. And the moment you understand what happened there, you will finally see why I am urging you to step back before their storm becomes your battle. It happened on a night when they felt more alone than they ever admitted. The room was quiet, the world outside slept, yet inside their mind 1,000 worries screamed at the same time. They felt forgotten, misunderstood, unappreciated. They were tired of being strong, tired of pretending they didn't care, tired of carrying wounds from people who never apologized. And in that emotional darkness, something whispered to them, not a voice made of sound, but a whisper made of thought. It felt comforting, almost familiar, like a gentle presence leaning close saying, "You don't have to suffer alone. I can help you." They were desperate for relief, my child, so they didn't question where that whisper came from. They thought it was their own mind talking, their own emotions trying to soothe themselves. But what they didn't see was that this whisper didn't belong to them. It was an entry point, small, subtle, quiet. And when they leaned into it, something invisible leaned back. From that moment, the atmosphere around them changed. Their room felt colder, but they blamed the weather. Their chest felt heavy, but they blamed stress. Their thoughts became darker, but they blamed their situation. They didn't realize something had responded to their unspoken invitation. That whisper began to guide their emotions. It turned small irritations into deep frustration. It turned tiny disappointments into waves of resentment. It took old wounds and brought them back to life, replaying them so clearly that they felt freshly broken all over again. It whispered reasons to feel victimized, reasons to feel jealous, reasons to feel angry at people who had never meant harm. Slowly, my child, their spirit became a breeding ground for darkness that wanted nothing more than to grow. And grow it did. It latched onto their loneliness. It fed on their anger. It magnified their jealousy. It deepened their pain. It strengthened every negative memory they ever held inside. This is why their mood began shifting without warning. This is why talking to them suddenly felt like trying to calm a storm. This is why their presence began to drain you instead of bringing peace. Their soul was no longer the same quiet garden it once was. Something had rooted itself there, expanding its reach through their mind, emotions, and behavior. But my child, the most dangerous change was not what happened inside them. It was what began to happen around them. People who used to enjoy their company started feeling uncomfortable for no reason. Pets that once played joyfully near them suddenly grew nervous, restless, or distant. Children who used to smile at them now felt uneasy, as if their innocence sensed something adults couldn't see. Plants near their space began wilting faster, even when properly cared for, because life struggles to grow where spiritual heaviness lingers. This is not superstition, my child, this is spiritual reality. Every environment reflects the condition of the soul that spends the most time in it. And lately, everything around them has mirrored the growing darkness inside. But the most chilling part came when their dreams began to shift. They started waking up in the middle of the night with a racing heart, sometimes hearing things that were not physically present. Whispered words at strange hours. Footsteps when no one was walking. Their own name being called softly from the corners of the room. And instead of rebuking the darkness, they engaged with it, out of curiosity, out of fear, out of confusion. They became familiar with what should have been rejected. Every time they agreed with a negative thought, the shadow grew stronger. Every time they replayed an old hurt, the shadow grew bolder. Every time they allowed bitterness to sit inside their chest, the shadow gained more territory. And now, my child, that presence inside them is no longer content to hide. It's reaching outward, stretching its influence to those who remain emotionally attached. Which is why you feel the impact even without being physically close. Your sleep has been disrupted. Your peace has felt unstable. Your intuition has been louder. Your energy feels heavier after speaking to them. Your thoughts get clouded after interacting with them. This is not coincidence. It is connection. Because spiritual influence does not need physical touch, it travels through emotional bonds, familiar ties, shared history, and open-hearted compassion. And my child, you have one of the softest hearts. You give without hesitation. You love without limits. You forgive without being asked. You feel deeply, even when you remain silent. Such hearts are beautiful, but they are also vulnerable when faced with someone carrying spiritual infection. This is why heaven is stepping in now. Because you were about to walk into a danger you cannot see, but it can see you. And that darkness inside them has recognized your kindness as an opportunity. It sees your patience as permission. It views your empathy as an entry point. It knows that if you stay close long enough, your spirit will become its next focus. Not because you're weak, but because you're open. Not because you're fragile, but because you're compassionate. Not because you're unprotected, but because your heart connects easily. And darkness always tries to invade through emotional access. My child, this person did not ask for this force to take over their life. They didn't wake up one day wanting to become cold, distant, unpredictable. They are struggling with something deeper than their actions show, something beyond their understanding. But until they choose to confront it, until they decide to break away from what they welcomed, until they fight for their own deliverance, there is nothing more you can do except protect your soul from becoming collateral damage. I know you want to help them. I know you feel responsible. I know your heart aches for them. I know you wish things could return to normal. I know part of you hopes they will heal if you stay close. But healing does not come from standing in the fire with someone who refuses to step out. Healing comes when the person chooses to close the door they opened. And right now, they are not choosing that. Which means you must choose yourself. You must choose your peace. You must choose your spirit. You must choose your calling. Because if you don't, their darkness will drag you into a pit you were never meant to enter, and your own light will begin to fade under the weight of their shadows. You were not born to carry their burden, my child. You were born to protect your purpose. And now I will take you even deeper into what lies ahead, what signs you must watch for, and how to keep your spirit untouched by what is trying to reach you. My child, now that the truth has begun to unfold before your eyes, you must understand that what is happening around you is not random, not accidental, not small, and definitely not harmless. There is a spiritual shift taking place, and you have been feeling the pressure of it even on the days when you couldn't explain the heaviness sitting inside your chest. I need you to hear this next part with clarity, because what I'm about to reveal is the very thing your spirit has been trying to warn you about, even while your heart kept hoping things would return to normal. You have been sensing the pull, the tug, the strange exhaustion that surrounds this person every time they enter your space. You've noticed how conversations with them leave you feeling drained, not uplifted. You've noticed how their presence feels like a storm trying to settle inside your peace. You've noticed how even the smallest interaction with them triggers a wave of discomfort, confusion, or emotional heaviness that you cannot shake off easily. And each time, my child, you tried to convince yourself it was nothing. But it was not nothing. It was a signal. Your spirit has been detecting something that your mind was trying to avoid. This person, someone you care about, someone you trusted deeply, someone you once felt safe around, has become a vessel for something that does not belong to them. Their shadow has grown thicker, their aura darker, their heart more restless. And because your soul is sensitive, because your heart is pure, because your light is strong, the darkness inside them feels threatened by you. That is why you have been feeling spiritually uncomfortable around them. Light and darkness cannot sit together without a reaction. Your very presence disturbs the entity they now carry, and its presence disrupts the calm you once had. This is why everything feels wrong when they get close, even if their words sound familiar. That discomfort is not emotional, it is spiritual. My child, I need you to understand something very important. Darkness does not attack strength. It attacks softness. It seeks out hearts that still have hope, hearts that forgive easily, hearts that love without limits. Because such hearts can be influenced. Such hearts can be misled. Such hearts can be drained until they forget who they are. You, my child, are such a heart. You carry compassion effortlessly. You love deeply without needing a reason. You stand by people longer than you should. You continue to believe in those who stopped believing in themselves. Your goodness is rare, and because it is rare, it becomes a target. This is why the entity inside them has begun to notice you more. It watches how you care. It watches how you think. It watches how you feel. It watches how you try to help them. It watches every moment you try to lift them from the darkness they keep sinking into. But my child, helping them from close is no longer possible. Because the thing inside them does not want healing. It wants control. And the closer you stand, the more it will reach for you. This is why your dreams have been strange lately. This is why your thoughts feel attacked when you are mentally tired. This is why random waves of sadness strike you even when nothing is wrong. This is why your confidence felt shaken recently. This is why your motivation disappeared suddenly. Your spirit is feeling the pull of a battle it was never meant to fight. My child, I need you to see something clearly. This person is not your enemy. They are a prisoner of something they allowed near their soul. Their behavior is not fully them. Their reactions are not fully them. Their sudden coldness is not fully them. The heaviness around them is not fully them. But the influence inside them is real. And you cannot afford to let it enter your life. There is a reason, child, that lately you've been feeling emotionally tired, mentally drained, physically restless, and spiritually unsettled. You've been standing too close to a spiritual storm that does not belong to you. And that storm has been trying to cling to you. Every time they call you unexpectedly, your spirit tightens. Every time they message you at odd hours, your peace feels disturbed. Every time you think of them, there is a strange heaviness inside your chest. Every time you try to advise them, your words fall flat. Every time you try to pull away, guilt attacks your mind. This is not coincidence. It is influence. Darkness uses guilt to keep you in places where your spirit no longer belongs. It uses memories to chain you to situations that have expired. It uses pity to make you stay when you should walk away. It uses fear to convince you that leaving them is wrong. But child, distance is not betrayal, it is protection. You cannot heal someone who is feeding what is hurting them. You cannot fix someone who refuses to close the door they opened. You cannot save someone who is slowly sinking but refuses your hand. You cannot carry someone whose spirit fights against every light you offer. Your responsibility now is not to rescue them. It is to protect your soul. Because if you fall, if your spirit collapses, if your mental peace breaks, then not only will you suffer, but you will lose pieces of yourself that will take years to recover. And heaven does not want that for you. You are chosen, you are called, you are covered, and your life holds a purpose too important to be derailed by the shadows living in another person. This does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you stop praying. It does not mean you hate them. It does not mean you close your heart. It simply means you must step back so darkness cannot reach you. You must create distance so your light can remain strong. You must protect your peace so your future stays aligned. You must guard your spirit so nothing foreign can enter. My child, your spirit has already warned you. Your dreams have already warned you. Your instincts have already warned you. Your sudden waves of sadness have already warned you. Your unexpected exhaustion has already warned you. Your confusion around them has already warned you. Now I am warning you too. You must step away, before their battle becomes your downfall. And now, my child, I will take you into the deepest part of this revelation. I will show you what happens if you stay too close, what destiny awaits you if you obey, and how to protect your home, mind, and soul from here onward. My child, now that you understand the weight of the situation, I need you to come even closer with your spirit, because the next part I'm about to reveal is not only the truth you've been avoiding, it is the truth that will determine the direction of your destiny. The danger is not only in what this person has allowed inside themselves, the danger is in what will happen to you if you continue staying emotionally connected to them. Their path is sinking deeper, but yours is rising higher, and the two cannot mix without one being swallowed. You must see what happens when you stay attached to someone who has invited spiritual heaviness into their life. Their thoughts are no longer steady, but your mind begins feeling overwhelmed. Their emotions are unstable, and suddenly your heart begins racing for no reason. Their nights are restless, and suddenly you find yourself waking up at strange hours, confused and uneasy. Their darkness begins to leak into your calm like ink spilling into clear water, slowly spreading until the purity begins to blur. This is why lately, even without any reason, you've been feeling uneasy without explanation. Drained after talking to them. Sad without knowing why. Heavy when your day was going fine. Mentally foggy after every interaction. Emotionally confused, even when nothing happened. Your spirit has been reacting to their spiritual condition. Energy is exchanged more easily than words. Darkness is transmitted faster than touch. Heaviness transfers even through silence. Your soul has been absorbing the weight of their choices. And that, my child, is not your burden to carry. Because when someone willingly keeps feeding their shadow, you cannot stand close without being pulled into the same pit. And the entity they welcomed is watching for any opening, any weakness, any moment when your heart feels vulnerable, any second when tiredness settles into your spirit so it can approach you without resistance. This is why you've had sudden mood swings. This is why your patience has been thin lately. This is why your spirit has felt disconnected sometimes. This is why your clarity has felt blurred. This is why your strength has felt limited. It's spiritual proximity. You've been standing too close to a soul that's being spiritually suffocated, and without realizing it, you've been inhaling the same air. My child, listen to me, your soul is too valuable to be drained like this. Your purpose is too important to be dimmed like this. Your future is too sacred to be tied to someone who refuses to confront their darkness. You are not responsible for the shadows they allowed. You are not required to rescue them from a storm they continue feeding. You are not called to sacrifice your destiny for their emotional chaos. You are not obligated to stay where your spirit is being harmed. Sometimes the most dangerous people are not the ones who intentionally hurt you, they are the ones who unintentionally let darkness live inside them, slowly affecting everyone near them. My child, look at what has already changed. Your sleep has been disturbed. Your mind has been unsettled. Your focus has been slipping. Your peace has been cracking. Your intuition has been warning you. When a connection begins draining your life, heaven steps in. And that is why this message has reached you now. I need you to understand that stepping back is not punishment. It is protection. It is obedience. It is spiritual survival. Because if you stay connected to someone under darkness's influence, the entity inside them will not stop until it tries to reach you. It studies you. It observes your weaknesses. It recognizes your compassion. It knows your forgiving nature. It knows your soft heart. And it will try to use those traits to get closer, to pull you deeper, to distract you, to weaken your spiritual strength. Your kindness is not weakness, but darkness sees it as an opening. Your empathy is beautiful, but darkness sees it as a breeding ground. Your loyalty is rare, but darkness sees it as a doorway. This is why I am warning you, my child, do not let your love blind you to your danger. Do not let your memories keep you tied to a sinking soul. Do not let your guilt force you to stay where your spirit is not safe. Do not let your compassion push you into a war that is not yours. The path before you requires clarity, strength, and spiritual freedom. And this person, as they are now, cannot walk beside you on that path. Not until they choose to fight what they have welcomed. Not until they decide to rebuild themselves. Not until they willingly close the door they opened. You cannot close it for them. You cannot pray it shut while standing in its shadow. You cannot carry them when they refuse to stand. You cannot heal them while they keep feeding their wounds. Your responsibility now is to step back and protect your spirit, because light is needed for where you are going. You have a purpose that darkness is trying to interrupt. And the enemy knows if it cannot destroy you directly, it will try to reach you through someone you care about. But heaven will not allow that, not if you obey this warning. Not if you listen to the nudge inside you. Not if you act with wisdom instead of emotion. My child, Come close now, because you've carried enough confusion, enough heaviness, enough worry about this person, and now you must understand the truth in simple, clear words. The person connected to you has changed. Not because they are evil, not because they want to hurt you, but because something dark entered their life during a moment of deep pain. They were emotionally wounded, lonely, overwhelmed, and in that weakness they opened a door they didn't realize was spiritual. That darkness grew quietly inside them, affecting their thoughts, twisting their emotions, and filling their presence with a heaviness that others can feel. You felt it stronger than anyone. This is why you've been drained after talking to them. Why your peace disappears around them. Why you feel uneasy even when nothing is wrong. Why your sleep has been disturbed without reason. Why your intuition keeps warning you. Your spirit has been reacting to their spiritual condition. My child, I need you to hear this gently but clearly. You cannot save them right now. You cannot heal what they keep feeding. You cannot carry someone who refuses to stand. You cannot fix someone's spirit while standing inside their storm. If you stay too close, their darkness will begin to attach itself to you, pulling your soul into battles that are not yours. You have already felt the early signs: emotional tiredness, sudden sadness, confusion, overthinking, spiritual discomfort. Those are warnings, not coincidences. So listen, my child, distance is not betrayal. Stepping back is not cruelty. Protecting your spirit is not selfishness. It is obedience. It is wisdom. It is survival. Pray for them from a safe distance. Wish them healing from your heart. But stop trying to fix what you did not break. Stop sacrificing your peace for someone who isn't ready to change. You have a purpose ahead of you, a destiny that requires clarity, strength, and spiritual sensitivity. You cannot reach that future while being pulled into someone else's darkness. Heaven needs you focused, grounded, protected, and aligned. My child, hear this final truth. You are chosen. You are protected. You are being separated for a reason. And your spirit will rise again once you step away from what has been draining you. Let them go for now. Let yourself heal. Let heaven handle what you cannot. And soon, my child, you will breathe again. You will feel light again. You will sleep peacefully again. You will walk forward with renewed strength. Because when you choose your peace, heaven chooses your path. Amen.